The head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, Marvin Lewis.
And still the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, as he made the decision yesterday to sign a contract extension and move forward with the Bengals after his contract had expired. Pleasure to welcome back to the program on the Subway Fresh Take Hotline. How are you, Coach?
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good. Nice to talk to you again. And let's start there. What made you decide to stay in Cincinnati?
Well, as I said, my work here is not done. You know, I came here to do a job, and that's help this football team become world champions. And obviously, we're not there yet. And it was a disappointing season. One, though, that I think it kind of helped establish some things that will help us in the future. We'll build upon and just move forward.
But for you to stay, from all reports, you wanted some things to be a little different on how it was all run. What was the discussions, and what may change next year for you and either your power or things around the program?
Well, I think some of it gets a little bit overblown, but the biggest thing is that we were all on the same page, and as we know what we're looking for in a football player and how to go about it and so forth and what's important to us. And just was to be a consistent message that way. That was important to me. It was important that, we were able to keep moving forward as an organization, as a program, and just the commitment to keep doing that. And that was important. It's been 8 years. And sometimes when you get because the first 3 years, I guess I signed new contracts and new extensions, and so and this one actually finally did run out, and so it just was a chance for a new start, a new beginning, and that we could go back and kind of reaffirm some of the things that we had spoke about. We speak about all the time, but yet with being in the situation I was in, it was a chance to kind of just reconfirm the direction from the top and make sure we were all consistent with it and still on the same page.
Mike and Marvin Lewis. So looking back at the year, I remember when you guys signed Terrell Owens, our reaction was, boy, if this thing goes well, if these guys play well and they're winning, what a lot of fun it's going to be to have T.O. and Ocho on the same team. But if it should go the other way, that could be really difficult. Unfortunately, Marvin, it went the other way. What was it like with those two guys in particular when the season started to get away from you?
Well, it didn't. Those two guys did well, and there was nothing, in respect to what people thought would happen. I thought Terrell played his tail off this year, and to me, he's an impressive football player. He plays through pain and injury, and he's going to be out there. He's going to practice. He practices hard. And I thought he did a really good job of that. I think Chad started out and he was a little he didn't have the kind of season starting out that we hoped he would have. A lot of it his coverage still rolled that way. But as Terrell began to draw more and more of the coverage, then we found ways to get the ball to Chad. The biggest thing we had is with the newness of Terrell to our offense and just getting here as late as he did, and the other kind of the young guys that were playing on the interior. We had some things that weren't quite right, and so we had some throws that the quarterback expected the receiver to be in the right spot, and he wasn't, and so we had some error that way, and that kind of hurt us as a football team. But as time went on, we kind of grew through that, and unfortunately at the end, Terrell hurt his knee, and Chad's ankle began to act up, and then we ended up with the other guys kind of assuming those roles.
Cincinnati Bengal head coach Marvin Lewis joining Mike and Mike, ESPN Radio, ESPN2. Up in Minnesota, Leslie Frazier was given the job, and when asked about Brett Favre, said he will not be making that phone call to see if Brett Favre is coming back. How about you with a guy like T.O.? And then obviously Ocho as well, because you had some young receivers who played well at the end of the year. What's the future of those two guys with Cincinnati Bengals?
Well, Chad's under contract.
Right.
So, he's under contract for the 2011 season. There is no option, no anything like that people keep speaking about. So he's just flat under contract. So he's a member of this football team, and at some point he's going to address his ankle here this offseason and move forward. Terrell is a free agent, and something that organizationally we'll discuss, over the next, 6 weeks or whatever, and we'll see what happens as far as we get around to the new league year and where we are as the National Football League.
And some people, I think, wonder if the really big question in Cincinnati is Carson Palmer going to be the quarterback long term? Is there any question in your mind Carson Palmer is your quarterback next year?
No, I have no question in my mind that Carson Palmer is our quarterback, and he really kind of weathered quite a storm this year, and took another step as a leader. But I think coming back, I think I'm just excited for him to really have an opportunity to assume that role again, but and very committed with the people around him.
All right, Mike and Marvin Lewis, let's get your perspective while we have you on some of the playoff games coming up. You played, I'm looking at your schedule, you played almost all the teams that are in the playoffs, and obviously Pittsburgh and Baltimore. A tough year. And obviously Pittsburgh and Baltimore twice. Let's start with the Ravens because they're play this weekend in Kansas City. 12-4. That's about as good a wild card as we have ever seen. Give us a sense of what makes the Ravens so good and how tough and out they're going to be.
Well, I think, it starts with the defense. They're going to play very, very sound defense. They're going to get after you. They're going to be physical up front. Suggs, Jared Johnson, Ray, Nara, Kelly Gregg, those guys are just playing great football in there up front. And I think what they've, kind of made strides in with Ed Reed back in the secondary, they really settled down and playing good football. Offensively, Ray Rice is as fine a, back as there is, kind of, Emmitt Smith-like, and really does a great job, and they kind of mix that up with the other guys, and then their receiving core is very strong, making big catches, contested catches, and, Joe Flacco generally doesn't make many errors, and then they have a strong kicking game with both their punter and their kicker, so they're very well put together.
And quickly, you played another big game that's going on, both the Jets and the Colts. Jets go to Indianapolis. A lot of question there with their running game, though they've been playing better, and Sanchez and his arm. Both those two teams and where they are right now in 30 seconds.
I think the biggest thing is the team that gets the lead is important in that football game. Because if you get behind the Indianapolis Colts and you have to start throwing the football, it kind of plays to the strength of their defensive football team. And conversely, the same thing with the Jets. If you get behind the New York Jets, and then you're going to see a lot of things that you're not used to seeing, and it's going to make it tough on your protection. So I think the team that can play sound early and not make mistakes and can get a lead will be the team that kind of wins out.
Be fun to watch. Rex Ryan was on your staff in Baltimore. Did he ever stop talking when he was working for you?
You got to love my man, doesn't he? That takes him long to get back in the saddle, did it?
Marvin, thank you very much. Congratulations on sticking around. We look forward to talking to you down the road.
Coach.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Take care. Marvin Lewis on the Subway Fresh Take Hotline. All our guests appear there. We're Mike and Mike, presented by Progressive Insurance.
That surprised me a little bit. He ended up back there. I thought that might be kind of it's time to go our separate ways.
So did I. But maybe, look, I'm looking at their schedule. Their schedule was brutal.
Sure
and
was.
They lost a lot of close games.